All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Legend of the Galactic Heroes, episode 77. All right.
Ruental got promoted. He handled the
Yeah.
crazy situation and the doubt and suspicion like an absolute Chad.
Well, if anything, Reinhardt did. Reinhardt
too.
handled the whole situation
Yeah.
in a very, very impressive way. Because, like, Ruental was just sitting there like, this is going to happen. Yeah.
Yep. And what a way to also reinforce the loyalty and the belief of his followers too, because Ruental, even if nothing happened, even if Reinhardt didn't punish him, right? That's kind of a blight on Ruental's record potentially in the eyes of like the people around him and stuff.
Yeah.
And throughout it all, he composed himself very well and even helped in some crazy ways during the disaster of the fire and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
Yeah. Ruental did have his little bit of you might as well just then, just kill me if, that's the way you're gonna take this.
Right.
Which It's like, okay. It has a little bit of the just then do it, just then do it, which I'm curious to see if any of this gets not revisited, but like kind of looked at through another lens, just potentially. Specifically because there's a big fight on its way.
That too.
Yeah.
Oh
and
my
then, goodness.
And then the whole thing with Lang. He's got to go.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
It's a problem. It's a problem. Yang, on the other hand, the other Aang, is having a huge prep session where he just entirely puts all of his resources and energy into getting his ships, his in some ways the
crew.
planet that he's probably taken care of in terms of Alpha Seal. Yeah. Prepared for a massive invasion.
Indeed.
Yeah. Will Yang have enough preparation in place?
Don't think so.
I think so.
I mean, it's gonna be okay enough to do the best that he possibly can. Which Miracle Yang, that's a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, unless there's some crazy external environmental circumstances or whatever that makes it so that Reinhardt can't operate at his best, don't see this going well for Yang.
Yeah, I have one big reason as to why this is going to go well for Yang, and it starts with Thor and ends with Hammer.
I thought you were going to say it's bald and it rhymes with Insky,
But no, that would be cool too. But y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. All right, well, I wore the wrong shirt, apparently. All the shit went down in Fejon, and I should have been with my merchant bros.
Although to be fair, did you wear the Fejon stuff for Rubinsky, or did you wear it for like the common people in Fejon?
So I wore it primarily for the common people of Fejon because I was thinking about it as its prime real estate. Because it's in the middle, and if they figured out the war thing, I'd be like, hey, well, Fejon's now best spot. So it's the investment mindset,
But Church of Terra is making their resurgence, and oh boy.
Yeah, they have not made claim to any of these attacks, though, so they are not getting what they want fully yet, which they then orated to us of, hey, we want peace to not be an option. We want the fighting to continue, and right now, the Empire is winning, so...
But I will say, the fact that they killed Silverbirch is actually probably okay, if Oberstein had died, that would have really sucked. That would have really sucked.
Yeah.
But I feel like Silverbirch is the death that could very easily be ignored as not necessarily that crazy important, but once the fighting stops, it will be felt big time. Because if he is the kind of person that would have ended up becoming the prime minister, just, obviously, of course, right?
Yeah.
And he would have been that good at it. Oh boy.
Yeah. The big thing about Silverbirch is he's one of those characters where he was brought into the story rather quickly, and yet the part he had to play seems to be more of the setup of that, hey, you cannot be allowed to think about a world without, or a galaxy without war, Reinhardt. So it reinforces the idea that he needs to do this. This is something that he must do.
Right, because, Silver Birch would have taken care of a lot of the infrastructure in the long term, once Reinhardt had conquered everything. Yeah.
Right. And given that these are all attacks that are timed with Reinhardt's leaving, it's there to destabilize, at the very least, the mental faculties of the Imperial forces on their way there, specifically Reinhardt. Now, Mariendorf is, again, being just one of the best characters in this whole story by bringing up the logic of, hey, Reinhardt, this is a weird tactic that Yang could use. But he could theoretically just wipe out Mecklinger and go and take Odin or just some of Imperial space and use that as like a bargaining chip. Yeah. Now, I would say that she is primarily doing this to try and get him to stop the attack. She is not doing this with the serious thought of, this is a thing that Yang will do. It's a thing of Yang could do this. So, Reinhardt, what do you really want here? And it's the, what do you want? It's not that simple. What do you want?
No, but it really is.
It really is.
That comparison works really well, because when she said the thing of, hey, if that's the case, let Yang build up his forces and stuff so you can beat him on an equal battlefield. That felt like the kind of thing that a therapist might do when they're wanting to basically say, hey, you can choose whatever you want to choose.
Right.
But that way of thinking, if that really is your way of thinking, then isn't this what would follow? Because it's the, well, if you want to fight him on fair ground, then just give him half the galaxy, and then then fight him then, right? And it's like,
I don't really want that.
Do you really? Yeah, I don't think that's what you really want,
right? And what Yang wants, Yang. Reinhardt wants is he wants Yang to be someone that can be an equal with him. In this whole thing,
he wants another Kier heist.
He wants another Kier heist,
even though he has been told that is not going to work by Yang himself. Even though it wasn't about Kier heist specifically, but it's the nope. I'm not going to serve you. That's not going to happen.
He is giddily excited about the idea of Yang finding some clever thing to throw at him.
Right.
To theoretically kill him.
Sure.
This is the kind of shit, Reinhardt, where you have your you have a very dangerous area where your subordinates start to think they know what's best for you because you don't know what's best for yourself.
That's
And then you start throwing stuff at them for insubordination and sedition and all this stuff because your paranoia turns into them being people that want to keep you from your dreams. And
quite frankly, Reinhardt, you're acting like a Bittenfeld. And and you know how that can go.
Well, we're about to see how that will go because Bittenfeld is doing most like, I like your ideas, Fahrenheit, so I will do that.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, something.
And I can just tell. This is the kind of thing. I really do feel like this is the kind of thing where Bittenfeld might actually succeed in getting at least some kind of a message out.
Yeah.
And then maybe once Yang says no, it's all over. Like,
but watch this. Watch Bittenfeld actually be the one that saves Reinhardt's life or something like that, or a lot of other people in the fleet, because basically it's the he
takes that L.
Takes that L. He's the dumb barbarian that basically is like, okay, yeah, I'll just go forward. He trips. Hey, there you go.
I want to get Bittenfeld.
And he just trips all of the traps, right? Yeah. All of the things, all of the plans, and all that stuff, and he gets eviscerated. But when you think about the Galactic Empire's fleets as a whole,
right?
That's an acceptable loss, and it was on because if you think about it, if they do have stuff like that just lined up to just wreck shit.
I mean, how much could they have? But like
Bittenfeld and Fahrenheit were waiting for the main group so that all of them could go up together.
Yeah,
that would have been, assuming that we're right about the idea that there's all these traps or things like that or whatever, right? Because we've seen Yang use like asteroids and stuff in fleet battles and things, and like who knows what he could have, just lying in wait, right?
Well, like think about it this way also. Like Yang basically had someone else just take initiative before the fight started. So he's basically getting this opportunity to see, a fleet just entered the corridor.
Right. deactivate all the mines. You know?
Yeah, actually, wait a minute. Let's play with this. What I could see being really fun is that Yang's already deployed.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do
Yeah.
with him being like, wait, it's just one fleet? Not two?
Well,
or three?
Or even
so
better.
less ships than me?
Or Bittenfeld gets there, and it's like, wait,
this was easy. This was
easy. They're not sortying. We established that Mecklinger isn't yet in position, right? Like he's moving into position.
He should be really soon.
Right. But what if Yang just skedaddled out of Iserlon
through to Odin?
Yeah.
That whole
and
way?
then he still has a skeleton crew in Iserlon
to operate the big gun.
And then either he starts taking Imperial territory, or once Mecklinger's in position, he comes around and pincers him. And then suddenly,
shit.
Mecklinger is trapped. They have to either take Iserlon really fast somehow, or Mecklinger will get crushed against the Thor's hammer and Yang's fleet.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they have no one on that side to keep Yang from doing anything.
Some of these characters' intelligence goes to damn near prescience, like Yang. But the idea that Mariendorf came up with that tactic or that strategic plan for Yang of he could do this. There is a possibility that that's just their foreshadowing of she just kind of guessed that because that's their weakest part of the squishy squish.
And if anything, the fact that Reinhardt's fleet deployments, I feel like, tells us a lot of where his headspace is at. Because if Reinhardt really wanted to crush Yang, if he really wanted to crush Yang, he wouldn't have just one fleet be the anvil. That's a weak spot. If anything, the fact that he's doing that almost feels like subconsciously he wants Yang to take the bait, right?
Like, why not send the other fleet with, was it Wallen or Lutz?
Yeah.
Why not send them
up to
the other way?
Up by Odin, you know.
Well, actually, they might be.
No, I thought they said they were going through Fejon still. It was just taking longer.
But didn't they come from Alliance Space? Didn't they come from Alliance Space? So if they were headed to Fejon, they might have...
But I think if that was the case, Mariendorf wouldn't have made the point of we won't have any forces there if he gets past Mecklinger.
But it's just going to take so much time.
Sure.
So what it might be is that this attack, let's Gigabrain this here, this attack stalls the command... But
it wasn't
Admiral.
coordinated with Yang. It was a
No,
thing.
But it is coordinated with the Imperial movements. So if any of the Admiralty that came to this meeting died or had issues there, then their fleet would have stopped moving, creating an opening for Yang on the Odin side, potentially.
Right.
Now, I'm going to go and check to make sure that this was actually...
I think... Wait. Was Boltic killed in the bombing?
So here we go. Here's the thing there. Boltic was not killed in the bombing. No.
So... Yeah, maybe he helped.
And from Huttplint, Odin, the Wallen fleet, was making its way via the distant Fejon corridor.
Yeah, so it's going from Odin to the Fejon corridor.
Around. Yeah.
So he is going the absolute long way around, as opposed to going from Odin just to join up with Mecklinger.
I think it's because he assumes that Yang won't be strong enough to actually sortie.
Possibly, but
that's a decent assumption, and Mecklinger might just have a fleet that's large enough to where it won't matter.
Yeah, Mecklinger hasn't been on the front lines, so I can imagine that his fleet is probably quite large because it's at full strength, right? Yeah, but that's still something where Reinhardt is basically saying, "I'm going to have this fleet do the inefficient thing because I want more ability to attack rather than actually corralling the enemy and being defensive, right?
But that does make sense in that Mecklinger is not going to attack ever. So put... It's basically like saying when you have your stuff set up and you leave some stuff behind at home to make sure it's legit, you don't send, 75% in for this. You build up a little bit here in preparation for when you're going to lose a lot over here. And then you send all but that 5-10% in.
Well, if you're not wanting to hedge your bets.
I guess.
Because Reinhardt has so many ships, right? That Wallen's fleet really won't make much of a difference in whether Reinhardt is able to take Iserlon, right? Like
Okay.
you either figure
That's
out a way
fair.
to get past the Thor's hammer and
Or
solve
you
that
don't.
issue, or you don't, right?
That's
like
true.
like that's I think it's a very binary, situation there.
I definitely agree. Yeah.
But-
it is something that
You're letting there be another variable on the table that theoretically Yang could go and take out Mecklinger, right? And if
Yeah.
there were two fleets over there, if suddenly Yang is not one-on-one with a potential Thor's hammer, advantage,
Yeah.
but it's like 2 against 1, then Yang might not be able to do that. Like,
Okay.
but yeah.
So the bomb went off
Uh-huh.
and nearly killed Oberstein, Lutz, and Wallen.
Mm-hmm.
But Silver Birch dying does feel like it's a little bit of a hole opening up in the side of things for
the Empire.
for just people in general to move into positions as things shifts around.
Sure.
So what it might
Okay.
be is anyone that died there was still, going to be helpful in some ways, even though they were targeting more the Admiralty.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if we'll get some more infiltrators maybe by the way things position as the hierarchy of the organizational structure adjusts around the death of Silver Birch.
I could see that, because one of the things that the Church of Terra also brought into play is that apparently they got Falk out of his institution.
Yeah,
right?
the psychiatric hospital that was there. Yeah,
And that's, I have no idea what they're wanting him to do, right? But
I think he's
it's not going to be good. You know.
I think he's potentially going to be an infiltrator of some kind.
Yeah, maybe. That's what I'm guessing. But it's something where Reinhard is acting aggressively, right? And the home front basically is starting to suffer.
Mhm.
And the question for Reinhard's empire has never been, will he be able to conquer the universe? It's, will he be able to hold the universe, right?
Yeah.
Wartime is not where he's weakest. It's peacetime, right? And that's shown here in that he could already have peace theoretically and just keep Yang holed up in Iserlon and Elphasil and things like that. Now, he might get more supporters in the Old Alliance space, so, that's a potential problem, but
Definitely.
But you have the galaxy, right?
Yeah.
But you might not be able to keep it, and things might not go smoothly, right? Like, so, yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Other big thing just in general is that if we end up in a situation where the movements of the Church of Terra influence Reinhard in some way,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of way could they stall out the fighting
Right.
that would
draw it
actually be
out.
serious? It would have to be something on a scale that would draw Reinhardt away from Iserlon first, because they can't just have like infiltrators in the fleets basically who just like blow up something important or whatever.
Sure, right. You'd
'Cause-
want it to be somewhere else, right?
Right, to draw them away. But the one thing that's been really emphasized this episode specifically, nobody likes Oberstein.
Yes.
And when I say nobody, it's almost getting a bit crazy that the show is forcing us to like contemplate the idea that people are really disappointed Oberstein didn't die in that blast.
Right. And the line that Mittermeier gave of, hey, he could have proved he was actually human, like, and it's like, okay, that was funny. But like, Oberstein, if Oberstein goes, that's a
And we had that.
that's a big hit to
We
Reinhardt's
had
forces.
that nurse just get
Yeah,
focused
there
on
were
way
there were
too much.
there were quite a few things that felt like just like, wait, what's going on? There's Falk, there's the nurse, there's Rubinsky talking to Dominique and being like, hey, I have something I need you to do,
Right.
but we don't find out what that is.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah. So, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb,
I'm Jacob.
and we'll see you all
Next time.